Hey, welcome back to another Geek Wars sort of reaction video. This is a bit of we're not going to show you the whole thing because it was the whole...
It was a 30-minute show.
Yeah, it was the dawn of the Justice League special. It was on CW.
It was hosted by Kevin Smith.
Ah,
he did a great job. Lots of big hand
and-
motions.
and
It was a
Jeff
great
Johns.
day. Oh, Jeff Johns. Oh my gosh, amazing.
Wait, Jeff Johns was more...
I'm Jeff Johns.
And Jeff Johns.
Amazing.
Jeff Johns, what'd you think of all that cool footage? What'd you think?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Pretty much every interaction we saw.
I mean, there wasn't much. The interaction was just
we
there.
love Jeff Johns.
Yeah.
But,
and John Smith.
I would love Kevin Smith, love Jeff Johns. Yeah.
Now, where do you want to start? Just from the Batman vs. Superman stuff?
Batman
Since
vs.
it's
Superman stuff
wasn't much.
was at the beginning. The biggest thing that I think we saw was the concept art showing
so
the entire
Justice
Justice League. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe. We don't know. Where's Green Lantern? We didn't see him. They talked about Green Lantern Corp.
It was interesting though. A lot of the concept art would show the whole. They were like, and here's the whole Justice League, and Green Lantern wasn't in almost any of those.
He was in one of them in the
he was
last
He was in one of them
yeah.
that looked
No.
more like from a comic book.
He was
not
he was in the
necessarily-
ones where they kept mentioning Justice League, and they showed a bunch of like the Justice League and the main characters.
Yeah.
You know, where you kept mentioning how Cyborg. They keep showing Cyborg in it, and
Yeah.
it's not really part of the early stuff.
I like that they
But
talked about
still showed
Cyborg
Green
like,
Lantern.
and he's one of the classics. And it was like,
Yeah.
Well, Jeff Johns mentioned that he feels that he's earned it at this point.
Yeah, that's what
He's
he
a
seems
modern
like he's
classic.
earned it. Yeah.
I think once he's in the films, he has a chance, especially for viewers. That's the big thing of what will make him a classic is if he does well and people respond well to it.
But this for me, this will be like because I don't know much about him at all. This will be my first introduction to Cyborg.
okay.
Really, I've seen a few of the episodes of the,
Small- or
So
whatever
with that,
it
what
was
did that give
Yes.
you of all the stuff? Because we saw some concept art of like his face and being torn off and sort of his body a little bit.
They said some things that sort of made you question when he said.
Technopath.
Yeah,
He
he's
said
a
he was
technopath.
Yeah.
Which
I didn't
think,
know that was one of his abilities before.
like
He was
Forge,
a cyborg.
If I think technopath.
Yeah.
It's more of a recent thing because you look at the Justice League; they're like god-like, and so they saw his powers. Cyborg is robotic; he's a cyborg. But then they're like,
Yeah.
well, if he connects to like the internet, like they mentioned in this, 24/7, he's
Yeah,
a
but
god.
a
now.
technopath is somebody who can create and who basically
The little boy on
is
Hero.
technology.
Yeah.
The little boy in Heroes,
Yeah.
where he just touches a TV and everything around him is now
I
part of
feel
his
like
to control.
he means in the
Yeah, I
sense
think-
that when he said he's constantly connected, which I think is an interesting place for that character to go, because I don't know when he was created. The internet probably
70s.
wasn't.
No, the internet wasn't a thing.
Yeah,
Initially,
a
he was
thing.
just a half robot, half man guy.
Yeah.
So-
They walked you through his thing that he was hurting a college,
Football.
Right.
hurting
Yeah.
football.
And then
His dad, who worked for Star Labs,
Right.
put him together and made him a cyborg, and then he joined Teen Titans. Teen Titans is where most people know him from before
Yeah.
this now.
And I've
Now he's been
with
part
the
of the
new
Justice
52,
League.
yeah.
He's been part of the Justice League since the New 52,
And I've been reading because he has his own comic series now.
which
Fun.
has been interesting. I've
It's
been
been
reading
pretty
that too.
good.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And heading
But-
towards this technopath thing,
Yeah.
where now he's going to control all the technology, even his own appearance from the last issue that I
Yeah.
read. Yeah.
Not huge on that, to be honest, because I feel like Cyborg, one of the
Kind of
big
takes it
parts
away.
of him
Yeah.
is that. But
Because his character has always struggled with that of like, am I man or am I machine, and why do I have to look like this? Because he's always kind of treated it like a Phantom of the Opera type thing where he feels ugly because of his machinery that is on him. So yeah, it's interesting that he'll now be able to take that away. But
yeah. Now,
Sort of the Nightcrawler versus the Mystique issue. That
Yeah.
now,
can change that.
what did you think of the Flash? You guys had strong opinions on that.
I don't like the guy for the Flash. I don't like the guy they have. I don't know why. I
Yeah.
don't really. He seems
It was his voice,
a
it was the
little
way he
young,
talked.
A little, a little immature.
And to be
for
fair,
it.
the guy on TV
Well, I
seems
think-
younger, but I like him more.
Really,
I-
because the guy in this seems younger.
Really?
I think Grant Gustin looks younger and sounds younger.
To me, it does.
But in terms of vocal tone, sounds younger. But in terms of what comes out of his mouth, word choice, sounds much more mature.
I think they're
This guy
wanting.
didn't sound mature.
The thing is, I think they're because you look at who's in the Justice League, they want different ages, so they're trying to get a
Yep.
younger age guy. They have. He'll probably connect with Cyborg. They're both probably around the early
Millennials,
20s.
sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
younger ages. So I think they're trying to get the different types of people. They don't want similar people. And I think that's what they might be going for with this, which, I mean, it's not someone we're used to seeing. I think with Barry Allen, he's a scientist. Maybe he kind of can fit that dorky, like, you look at that concept art, his hair is a bit, like, disheveled. It's not cut the best.
Yeah.
And so I think he's going to be that sort of, maybe a bit awkward
and in the
weird.
Flash, in the past, the Justice League has used the Flash for a little bit of the lighter stuff, a little bit of the comic relief. I mean, in the cartoons, that he straight up had the jokes.
Yeah,
so
almost their only.
Yeah. So and if that's the case, if that's where they're going with it, that's fine. I think it'll be then a struggle to do the solo film. If he's established as kind of being flippant there,
As the comic
it makes it harder than. I mean, he'll have to have another character in the solo film that is even more comic relief to make him seem.
Or to be the straight man for him to play off of constantly.
That too. Yeah.
Well, I also think he could be sort of the kid who doesn't like super speed is an amazing power, and so maybe that's part of his setback is he is so young. He's a bit reckless with it or doesn't really know what he's doing and is just kind of all over the place. But I don't know. I'm excited. I like the actor. I get that you don't like him, and that's...
Well, here's the thing. If he was the only kind of Flash out there in the world, if he's all I've got, yay. Thanks for making something Flash. But I've got a Flash, and I like my Flash.
I like the show, but I'm not a huge fan of...
He was on earlier
Grant
tonight,
Gustin.
and I like him.
I wasn't a huge fan of him to begin with either, but sort of over time he's grown on me.
I'm pretty sure I'm the only one who saw him on Glee before he was on Flash.
Yeah, I didn't make it that far, I don't think.
So, yeah. I'd seen him on Glee where he was actually hitting on the gay kid with super high voice. And they were having, like, sing-offs and stuff together. Kurt, yeah.
Kurt.
And on that show, he's a wildly different character than he is in The Flash.
Oh, no, I did see that.
He's brash
He
and
looked
cocky
very different, too.
And, yeah, looks a little more slick.
Okay, so I did
and then
see
in Flash, he's a much more leveled out, reasonable, much more full character. So yeah, I like my Flash.
Yeah, I think I mentioned her Green Lantern Corp.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was very
that.
interesting.
Weird.
That was
because they showed all of them. You even mentioned Simon Baz
was in that image.
Simon Baz was in the image. Yeah.
I mean, it was one basic image, but at the same time, it was when they said Green Lantern Corp. They showed Kyle Rayner, but in his White Lantern form. Too.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? So they're basically to me that makes it seem like they're probably just gonna have just a bunch of Green Lanterns for that, and that does bring up the question: who's in Justice League? Is one of them in Justice League? Are they all just gonna show up?
Especially the way it was set up. Kevin Smith says something about and then Jeff Johns says the Green Lanterns.
Yes, so there's multiple.
Yeah. He never mentions Green Lantern as one.
So it feels like that's the Justice League. The Green Lantern Corps shows up.
It feels like that might be what happens.
And maybe they're fighting the bad guy.
And
They can't beat him.
Stick around.
Yeah,
maybe.
that might be it. I mean, that's a pretty interesting thing. I mean, especially it's a different way to take it if after the Green Lantern movie didn't work, they're trying to just go, let's try something completely different. And maybe Green Lantern, maybe none of them stay.
Kyle Rayner, that's his Green Lantern uniform. That's not White Lantern.
No, there's another image that comes up later that is the White Lantern one. But it's right after this one, I believe. Unless they go back to them talking. But there's going to be one. You probably passed it, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter, we're on a video right now.
Yeah.
So, because we already seen Ben Affleck, there wasn't much of him as Batman or Superman, we kind of got it. There were little extra clips we hadn't seen for Batman.
I feel like there was one new, image in there from up and over the ship, alien ship or whatever, that I feel like I hadn't seen before. It might have been in there.
There were a few, it was like of Superman flying.
No revelations whatsoever.
No, nothing.
No revelations. But I felt like I saw new little clips, new little images, new little bits.
We've
of footage.
seen enough though.
But nothing that made anything different or new. So which is what I expected was going to happen. Yeah. So
we've seen enough. It's kind of, this is more, what is the universe going to look like rather than what is Batman versus Superman going to look like.
Which is good because we've seen so much Batman.
We have seen Superman. A lot. Now, let's go on to Wonder Woman real quick. We got some footage.
Okay.
I mean, there was some of it was rough because they're still filming, so I was like, okay, I'll give you a little leeway for that, I feel like. But I have to say, I thought some of the shots looked amazing. Just looked really cool. Some of the action shots.
I didn't see anything that looked amazing.
Okay.
Horse stuff?
I'm just excited.
She
It's
was
just
on
a
a
person on a horse.
She was on a horse. And
That's
she's, like,
amazing.
slicing- No, there's some slow motion fight stuff.
There's some
And
The fight stuff looked interesting. Fight stuff looked okay.
the setting,
Um,
just the feel. I felt like the tone was really good. I liked the tone and the feel.
What did you think the tone was?
It's sort of that mix between the first Avenger. You have the old sort of
Yeah.
style,
I saw a little bit of
plus
that, yeah, where she's fighting
like
soldiers.
an epic adventure
Yeah.
sort of thing. And like I
old
said,
school Indiana
Lord
Jones
of the
type
Rings
feel?
type
Period
of thing.
piece versus, yeah.
It
type
has
of-
like that. I mean, Legend of Zelda is what I meant. It sort of has a Legend of Zelda. Like that's what I meant when they're riding the horses. But it also feels like a little bit Lord of the Rings, not very much.
Okay.
But it just feels like an epic.
I
Like,
think legendary, like yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That looks
more,
sick.
more of a fantasy type of feel merged with the World War One.
setting, and it
Setting.
looks
Yeah.
pretty cool. And there's some good stuff, like you see her fixing her glasses and stuff, and looking like she's trying to fit in with that world and see what the world's like. They gave some good information. I feel like of her story of she's being told that the world is bad, and she's like, "No, I'm gonna go check it out." And
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
all that
why
stuff.
aren't we protecting the humans like we're supposed to?
That's what she
Yeah.
says, and I like that. So I'm pretty excited for it.
I would have to
That's a
say
long
that
time
the
coming.
footage did get me more excited.
Yeah.
I've been sort of excited. It's like, yeah, it's great. I'm more excited of the concept of finally,
Yes.
after all these years, getting a Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
That's what
Yes.
I've been most excited about the movie, that it's going to exist. This footage makes me actually excited to see said movie.
And because it actually looks at least decent enough.
Yeah,
in
it
what we've
looks
seen.
interesting enough to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the action scenes, we just paused as we were glancing at some of the scenes again. And they look great. It's her beating up what looks like German soldiers and stuff like that. It looks really awesome. And I too am interested to see, just because I don't feel like I feel like with most superhero movies, and they're like, oh, they're making a Green Lantern movie, and I'm like, okay, I'm guessing I would see this, and with Wonder Woman, I don't have an idea
Sort
of what a Wonder Woman movie
Yeah,
would
but I think
be.
there are some movies that we've seen that we have no idea, like Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man. There's no, this is what we're going to see.
Yeah, I felt like with for Ant-Man, I'd seen the test footage that Edgar Wright put together.
Yeah, but you don't see
10
these are
years before.
the
So
points.
I kind of knew where the points were going to go.
I'll
with
say
Ant-Man.
this: I even with Man of Steel, I thought there were points that I was going to see in that, and I did not see them, and I was
Okay.
thrown off at first. But then I was like, okay, and I.
But then all
got
the rest of
into
it,
but
like him killing Zod, and a lot of that stuff, it felt like
Spoilers.
exactly what I was expecting to see.
it's fine. It's been years.
Yeah, it's been years. Get over it.
I think it wasn't because I was like, oh, I was telling a friend of mine before we saw it that, oh, when they say kneel before Zod and everyone cheers, I want to let you know that's from other movies because they hadn't seen it, and so I thought that's going to be in it. Of course, Zod's in it.
He's going to have a time
He's
where
going to
says
say kneel
Zod.
before Zod. It's going to happen.
I don't remember if he did or not.
He
Did
didn't.
not?
He didn't.
Exactly, that was
Yeah,
part
it
of
was
it.
a matter of-
I
it
went
was
in.
just a matter of contention.
I also thought he was going to say like a helicopter or a plane and say something about how, oh, it's the safest way. It's still the safest way to travel, or something like
Oh,
that.
I didn't. Why did you think that?
Because he always done it in every
He
movie.
does it all the time.
Every movie, Superman movie.
He
they've
saves
had
a plane
before.
because that's part of his origin.
And
That's
he
part of how
always
revealed
he
himself.
says it's the safest way to travel. It's
Okay.
been done in like every
It's
movie that
also
he's done.
Supergirl's origin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So-
what the biggest thing in Superman. That's why in Supergirl you see it.
See,
'cause
no,
it's
I
a-
expected that the
iconic
old
thing.
cheesy, crappy lines from Superman would be taken out for the new movie.
Yeah, because that's all I know. Like
I think for
Superman
the new
movie wise.
movie, I was given the idea that it was a dark, sort of gritty emo movie, so
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting any
I wasn't
of those.
expecting that.
see that.
But like in terms of like villains and stuff, I still feel like we're in the dark. I mean, we know that Ares is being tossed about as a possible name.
He's a big bad.
Hera possibly is a possible name.
She's not going to be a villain.
She won't be a
She's
villain.
not going to be a villain.
That she might be. Well,
There's Cersei.
Cersei.
Cersei's
I don't feel like I don't feel like I know Wonder Woman's rogues
Cheetah's
gallery
a big
well enough.
one.
Cheetah's the only one that I think I can name off the top of my head. Like I wouldn't have said Ares. To me, I've seen Ares more with Wonder Girl than I've seen with Wonder Woman.
Because you probably read more comics.
Yeah.
I guess, then.
So, yeah.
You just haven't read Wonder Woman comics.
I mean,
that's
I've read
weird.
Wonder Woman comics, and each one feels. I never feel like I'm in.
Distinctly different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, well, with Wonder Woman, it's that's sort of an issue with her because during the 80s they took her in such a different direction.
Yeah. The
Like,
mod,
but when she
took away her
started-
powers and.
Right, they took away her powers and she punched rice through the 80s. Like, that was her origin story, was that she met up with a guy who taught her to punch rice. That's all I remember about reading that entire. I read that almost
I
that
don't
entire
remember that
line.
part. I remember she could fly. She wasn't bulletproof, which is why she uses the little bracelets.
She has the bracelets. Right.
That's another thing too. I'm never totally clear on her power set.
And that's what we're saying.
Like, if
they
she's not
consistently
bulletproof,
change that stuff.
Couldn't she be knocked out by a person?
I think the
Like,
problem
I
is where they always with writers I feel like don't know what to do with her, and I think that's a huge problem. It's sort of it's built from a long time ago, especially for female characters, and a big female character is going to get so many different writers that are going to just go all over the place and be like, this is what she should be. And so she became a secretary for the Justice League for a while.
Wow, that's terrible.
Yeah, that's what she was. That's where you have to realize.
And I feel like that's part of the problem, though, is that she didn't have.
That's where our confusion comes.
She didn't have that story arc, that story thing of like,
she has,
this is her, and everyone else. If it had been big enough and good enough, all the other writers would have been like, yes, and they would have.
I think there's
taken off with it. The fact that each writer comes along and goes,
origin's pretty,
and goes in a different direction,
largely
speaks to the.
I'd say largely her origin story is pretty much the same, and I know it beat for like you have Steve Trevor crashes. She's made of clay, of all the gods. Well, 4 different gods. She has their powers, and then Steve Trevor is he's flying and he crashes into the planet, and then she's like, and they want to kill him, but she's like, no, and they have to go to a trial and to take him home and all this stuff or kill him, and they do a gladiatorial match. And then Diana secretly goes and gets involved in it because she's not allowed to because she's a princess, but she does anyway secretly, and she wins, and so she gets to take him back.
And then she sees the world of man and decides that she wants to stay and protect
She
him.
protects because depending on the story, because they always change the first villain is always different. The first villain is always different.
True.
It's not like they need to have the exact same story every time.
True.
So Superman, what's his first villain?
Lex Luthor.
Is he the first villain? He's the main villain. He's not the first villain.
When you say the name Superman, that's the first villain I think of.
Wonder when you have Cheetah, you even said that yourself. That's the one you think of. So you have one.
But I'm also a fairly big nerd, so I mean that's because I've read enough books that I've seen her like when they have the Injustice League, they pair her up with Cheetah, and that's how I know that she's a Wonder Woman villain.
Well, this whole issue was in that article recently where they said that Wonder Woman is a cultural icon, but nobody really knows why.
And Zack Snyder said, "I want to give her give people the why."
And that's why it's okay that we go into this movie not really knowing what.
And I think that's great that that's what's happening. But
we know more than most, sure.
Yeah. But I still feel like I'm in the dark, and I've read Wonder Woman comics. I've read quite a few of them. Not lately, but over the course of my youth and stuff.
Prepare for the movie.
Yeah.
So. And I mean, if you're looking at the Clay story, it seems like they're not going with that one because recently with the New 52,
I don't think they haven't always gone with that. I think in the 80s she wasn't. She was just a person.
Yeah.
They have changed it a few times here and there, but the main one was the Born of Clay. They always tend to go back to it.
Sort of like that issue of whether Thor was really ever
Asgardian, or is he just a dude that
or was he just
a dude like Donald Blake, and he would tap his cane and turn into Thor? And yeah.
Well, also now with Wonder Woman, the clay thing was what she was told, and so it was a secret. And now she's actually was the daughter of Zeus. So there's.
Well, I think that also goes right in there with Joe Chill, whether or not he's the one who killed Batman's parents, or if it was just some nameless guy. And they change back and forth these things. So when they retcon everything.
She has a distinct story, but they do change things all the time. But like a lot of the same story points are the same of the Themyscira and the crashing of Steve Trevor's plane. And the gladiatorial match thing.
So we can probably expect to see some of that.
Yeah. And that all sounds good. Yeah.
And then some stuff on this side of that.
I don't want to get, but there's some images that came out that I also saw that was like, oh, that's Etta Candy from the old comic books, and it looks like old Etta Candy with the red hair, and she's got a bit of weight on her.
Who?
Etta Candy, her friend. Her best friend. It's Wonder Woman's best friend.
Do you know this?
I knew that it was her best
friend. She winds up marrying Steve Trevor.
I didn't know that she was supposed to be in this movie, though.
Yeah, she's in it. I'm pretty sure. I think so. I'm guessing because there's no confirmation.
I feel like I've read dozens of Wonder Woman comics and I've never seen this person.
She's in them a lot.
Yeah, you never know. Although some of the ones that I read for a while, Artemis took over and she was Wonder Woman for a while.
I haven't really read the 90s ones.
I was intrigued by that idea, the idea that anybody from Themyscira could be Wonder Woman. I thought that was an amazing idea. They could have ran with that. I thought that was cool. Because then have like a Wonder Woman Corps, kind of like Green Lanterns.
I mean,
That's what they're doing with Thor now too.
Yeah.
Which they've sort of have done.
They've done that. There was the 4 Thors a while back.
Because there have been Beta Ray
Eric
Bill
Masterson,
was,
Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah.
The guy from the future, Drago or whatever.
Evan Drago, yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Ultimate one. But
Thor, what happens if he dies? If he dies, he dies.
no, they had the.
They actually had a book for a while that was the 4 Thors.
Yeah.
Well, there's also like just recently there's the Secret Wars thing where the Thors were all cops and they were protecting it and they're basically
all the
Green
different
Lanterns.
Thors from the different worlds.
Yeah. So they're
See, I like a little bit of that, but I don't want. To me, that's one of those things that like. You never turn the drain on full blast. You just give me a little bit of it, and I'm like, ooh, different Thors, and then let me go back and
I
go
never
back
liked Beta Ray Bill as Thor, or that
No.
Frog Thor. So
yeah, I didn't like Frog Thor either. Beta Ray Bill was interesting as his own little character aside,
Yeah.
not as a replacement for Thor.
right.
I liked the idea of Eric Masterson as a replacement for Thor, because then it's like, I'm just some guy. Can I be Thor? And it was like, sure.
And that's what Jane Foster is now.
This has
And that's what
basically
Jane
become a
Foster's
podcast.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Yeah.
That was Wonder Woman spun off.
Well, that's
It
what I'm
is
saying.
Thor.
That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anything else that we can talk about? Suicide Squad, we got just a little talking mostly. I mean, we saw the trailer. We'll have a different reaction
That's a different
for that.
video for
A
that.
lot
Yeah.
of parts of that trailer
Yes.
in the special also.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it was mostly from the first trailer.
Yeah.
It was in
Yeah.
the special, but then I don't know. I mean, there's other than that, that's mostly it. I think I'll probably go back and watch just bits and pieces just to see like little images. Because I want to see some of that concept art. Because there was also some Aquaman concept art of him like stabbing something with a trident.
Yeah.
This is
that
from
looked
the
good.
comic more.
That's the concept art you're talking about there with
no,
Jason
there's
Momoa.
another one.
There's another one that comes right after this where he's stabbing
He
something.
stabs that
with
that
the
might have been
trident.
earlier though. Oh, there he is.
There he is. Yeah.
Looks like it's got electric or something powers.
Jason Momoa looks smaller than normal.
Because he's not. That's how it works.
That's how bodies work.
They don't constantly look at Wolverine. He's not constantly that. He has to go through a lot of trouble, and that's why he's stopping because he doesn't feel that his body can keep doing that.
Are they going to go with Flash with finger gloves?
Oh, it looks like it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That is weird.
That's
I don't
a
know.
strange choice, but it's different.
But now he
Some of
doesn't
these
have them.
images they.
I know.
Some of these images are some of the iconic images from the comics. Yeah.
Well, that's New 52. You can tell.
When
the
he's got the
difference.
extra lightning bits on him, that's all New 52 stuff.
Because he flings lightning.
But I'm gonna have to go back. I like his blazer, but we're gonna have to go back.
Really?
It looks so good.
It looks like an apron from a pizza restaurant.
Shit your face hole. Now.
What, dude?
Look at the jet. He's like, I love his blazer, and it's like,
Oh.
It's a coat. Yeah, I like it. Leave me alone. I like his ears. He doesn't have the giant Flash ear thing.
Wing
pieces.
things.
Yeah, wing things on his ears. If you look at that image.
not the giant ones now.
No, they're pretty flat when he's chasing after the bullet.
And that's cool. I've actually always preferred those.
Okay.
I've never understood why some guys have them as giant things coming off the top. That always seemed weird.
It would.
Kind of like the
Oh.
new Batman with the bunny ears.
His torn
I'm
face.
wearing a metal hat with.
See, and that's
them
weird
on
because in the
face.
comics you've never seen that.
Yeah.
He's always
Oh.
just had that.
In his recent one, they've shown him. No, that's when he's blowing up his.
Does this
daughter's-
shirt say
his-
Borg Life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Have you seen his Instagram and his Twitter and stuff? He's constantly doing that stuff.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
he's fully accepted.
He's
that he
hashtagging
is
it and running
Cyborg.
around Borg
That's
Life,
funny.
everything.
That's funny.
Anyway, any other thoughts that you have that we haven't talked about yet?
No, I think we're
No,
all
we talked about all of
excited to see all the things that we knew we were excited to see.
Yeah, I now want to see all the things. I will give DC this. I mean, I haven't fully jumped on board with everything yet, and I don't think I'm fully there, but I'm more there than I was, especially on Wonder Woman, and very especially on Suicide Squad. So yeah,
I'm not fully on board, but I'm quite on board.
there you go. I'm 75%
I
on board.
can't be fully on board because I haven't seen the movies, but I've seen Man of Steel and I really like
Trevor,
it.
you are the
You're
board.
pretty bored. Yeah, you're
Look
pretty.
at you. You
I have
are the
criticism.
board.
You're wearing the board.
I have criticisms, but at the same time, they're not as strong as yours. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's fine. Well, your criticisms are never as strong as mine.
No,
I'm a hopeful
You are not
person.
strong in the
unless we're talking
criticism.
about Avengers.
I mean hope.
So, hey,
Stop fingering yourself.
All right.
Bye. No, we have to say the things.
Stop fingering yourself. Bye.
We have to say the things. Okay,
Okay.
so check us
Follow
out.
us.
Geek Wars Podcast and all the things. iTunes, Podbean,
Podcast Addict.
Podcast Addict.
Facebook.
It's Facebook.
Twitter.
Twitter at Geek Wars Podcast. You can follow Ben on Twitter at
Big_BMS.
He doesn't really tweet. I tweet some every once in a while. And you can follow me on Twitter at Daclus, DACLUS. Ken,
I'm not on Twitter. You can't follow me.
I should tweet more.
you should.
You can send me just a telegram.
Yeah.
If you want to, you can also email
Ken,
us.
stop. Join Twitter. Stop.
Send emails to geekwarspodcast@gmail.com if you have any questions or you want to complain to us about something they got
Leave
wrong.
reviews on stuff.
And,
talk about stuff. Complain about us. We're fat. We look like Kevin Smith. We're queens. We wear makeup. We have long hair. Talk about it on all the things. Come on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
3
you.
no pussy getting
Put
motherfuckers.
stuff out there.
Oh, let's cut before
I'm
that.
quoting my fans.
Alright, toodaloo.
Peace.